everybody. Joe Scott here with HigherHertz.com. And welcome to another episode of how to play this bad boy, the 5-string banjo. Before we get started, please make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as that little bell. That way you'll get notifications for future videos. So let's get started. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about tablature. When you're learning an instrument, especially a stringed instrument like the 5-string banjo, we're going to need a way to notate things on paper so that you can read them, to study them, to memorize them. So things like picking patterns, licks, chords, and so on. So I'm just going to pop up a graphic here which shows a drawing of my right hand just to make sure that we understand all the terminology being used here. It's showing just a graphic of my hand with the picks on. The thumb pick, the index middle finger pick, and the middle finger pick. You know, to get the right tone out of your banjo, you should wear metal finger picks on the index and middle fingers and the plastic one on your thumb. These picks help you with your balance and they help you with your volume. Now, you certainly don't have to. You can just use your fingers as well. But if you're going to be playing bluegrass, kind of the folk or the country, those picks do help to get a better tone out of the instrument. The lower diagram, the proper picking hand position, we have covered this in previous videos, but just a reminder, this diagram just shows how the hand should look. How it should be sitting on your pinky and ring fingers resting on the head of the banjo, how your wrist breaks over the armrest there, all this putting your hand in the proper playing position to get the right tone out of the instrument. There's just a few basic things when you're reading tablature, and again, some of this is just in review, we've covered this, but on the banjo, we think of the very bottom string here, or the string closest to the floor, as string number 1. And it's a D note in the tuning of the banjo. The second string is this one, and we call that a B. The third string is a G. The fourth string's a D, and the fifth string's a G. All right, and the fifth string's also a little different because it starts at the 5th fret of the instrument. And speaking of frets, these spaces, again, are called frets. If you're just getting into this and haven't watched previous videos, these are the fret spaces. So this is fret number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., all the way up to the top of the banjo. And so if I were to tell you to put your number 1 finger of your left hand on the 1st string, 2nd fret, well, that's the 1st string there, and that's the 2nd fret, and that's where you'd push down. So now, let's look at what a piece of tab actually looks like. So in this diagram, you're actually seeing a piece of tablature. Now, I've embellished this a bit so that you notice in example 1, there's 5 lines. Those 5 lines represent your 5 banjo strings. And then the round circle there to the right is obviously is the body of the banjo. So as I just mentioned, that top line represents string number 1 of your banjo. The second line represents string number 2. Third line, string number 3, fourth line, string number 4, and the fourth line, string number 5. So I think that's pretty obvious. And so in the example 2 below, this shows a simple line of tablature. Each line in the example represents one of the 5 banjo strings. Now, if you notice, there's numbers sitting on each string. A 0 means to simply pick the string open, meaning don't fret it anywhere here with your left hand. So if you notice, that first one is telling you to pick the 3rd string open, and notice below the 5-string tablature there, it says thumb, because that's telling you below the T means to use your thumb. Okay, and then the next note is showing to hit your 2nd string open with your index finger, and your 1st string open with your middle finger. And that's example 2. Example 3 is showing that now you notice it's a 2 on your 1st string. So that means to hit your 1st string, 2nd fret, and pick that with your middle finger. A couple things to remember. Whenever you're picking with these 3 fingers, you always pick down with your thumb and up with your middle and your index finger. Again, those 5 lines on a measure of tablature represents the 5 strings of your banjo, and the numbers represent where to fret. on the banjo itself. So what we're going to do first is we're going to learn a few rolls, and these rolls are super instrumental in playing the 5-string banjo. All right, so in this diagram, these 4 rolls are perhaps the most important and basic rolls in picking the 5-string banjo. Right now, we're going to focus on the forward roll initially. And as you get comfortable with the forward roll, then you can go on to the other 3, the on the beat roll, the inside out roll, and the foggy mountain roll. We're going to just focus on the forward roll. So if you notice, you're looking at the tablature there. And one thing I like to do is to get that sequence of the picking pattern in my head. So I look at that and I see, and these are the strings I will be picking. I see 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1. And just if you can get that in your head, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, that'll allow you to focus on striking them with the correct fingers of your right hand. So in playing that forward roll, you notice below the zeros it says TM, TIM, TIM. So again, that's striking with your thumb, then your middle, your thumb, your index, your middle, your thumb, your index, and your middle. And you go 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1. Okay. So that's the tablature for a forward roll. Thumb, middle, thumb, index, middle, thumb, index, middle. Moving on to the next one, the on the beat roll, it's a tad different. You start on your 3rd string, and that sequence is 3, 2, 5, 1, 3, 2, 5, 1. Thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle. So 3, 2, 5, 1, 3, 2, 5, 1. That's what that one sounds like. Again, those are all zeros because we're not pushing down on the frets anywhere. We're only focusing on our right hand. If you remember in previous lessons, we talked about how we're going to break this down between the 2 hands. So what I would encourage you to do is to get all 4 of these rolls under your fingers and then get real comfortable with them where you can play them individually and then you can string them together and you can just do them randomly. Maybe play a forward roll and then the foggy mountain roll, then the inside out roll and the on the beat roll. And don't worry about playing fast at this point. We have to learn to crawl and then to walk before we can run. So it's super important to just play these, making sure you're relaxed, making sure you got the right hand technique happening properly. So the forward roll again is 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, and repeat. 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1. The on the beat roll, 3, 2, 5, 1, 3, 2, 5, 1. Again, 3, 2, 5, 1, 3, 2, 5, 1. The inside out roll is 3, 2, 1, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1. And it sounds like this. 3, 2, 1, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then you repeat that. Now the foggy mountain roll is unusual because notice the first note of the roll starts with your index finger as opposed to your thumb. All right, no big deal. It's just a little different roll pattern. That pattern is 2, 1, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, and sounds like this. 2, 1, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 5. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play all 4 rolls or picking patterns in a row, just one time each, and I'm going to go right into each one without stopping between them. Here we go. Forward roll. On the beat roll. Inside out roll. Foggy mountain roll. All right, so that starts getting really interesting once you start putting these different picking patterns together. I'll do it one more time, a little faster. So that is 4 measures of music right there. All you need to do is get these 4 picking patterns under your fingers, get them memorized and get them flowing and comfortable. Play them super slow and accurately. Don't worry about speed. And next time we will be applying some very cool techniques to these rolls and even a tune that you can apply it to. All right, so that's it for this lesson. And thanks for tuning in. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to our channel. Click the little bell to get your notifications for future videos. And also, please feel free to leave a comment. So remember, practice, practice, practice. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of How to Play the 5-String Banjo.